Tonight, lead up to Field Days 2015, Hamilton hosts African teams for football, and behind the scenes peek into training the Waikato Warrior. Kia ora and good evening. Welcome to Central News on TV Central for Thursday, the 2nd of April. I'm Amanda Harper. In today's news, Hamilton is set to host 102 international competitors in the Olympics of the Trades, World Skills Oceania competition at Wintec this month. Our national team is made up of 23 young Kiwis who were deemed the best of the best in their chosen trades, for their age, including 4 Hamiltonians. Taking place from April 14th to the 17th at Wintec's Rotokauri campus, the New Zealand World Skills team will take on competitors from Canada, India, Malaysia, China, Australia and Korea, in a total of 30 skill categories. World Skills New Zealand Chief Executive Bruce Howitt says the New Zealand team will compete in 18 of these categories, ranging from aircraft maintenance to various auto and engineering trades, carpentry, joinery, plumbing, heating, floristry, hairdressing, restaurant trades and web and graphic design. He says the competition will be intense for the under 23-year-olds as they all vie for a spot in the Tall Blacks, who will travel to Brazil in August for the international competition. New Zealand National Agriculture Field Days is almost upon us, and event organisers are thrilled to announce a continuation of its partnership with Xero as exclusive premier feature partner. Held from 10th to the 13th of June at Mystery Creek in Hamilton, the theme this year is Growing Our Capability in Agriculture. Xero aligns itself with Field Day's values and aspirations in the agri-sector to grow and influence New Zealand's position as a global leader in agriculture. Chief Executive John Calder says the future of New Zealand's continued success as a leading agribusiness nation globally rests on our ability to collaborate and grow our capability. In Xero, he says we have a partner that embodies and exemplifies these traits. Xero Rural Lead Ben Richmond says Xero is excited and proud to be partnering with Field Days as the exclusive premier feature partner. He says they look forward to being on site with their technology and accounting partners to showcase how their online accounting platform can help lift capability for better businesses' decision making. Senegal and Mali will bring African footballing flair to Waikato Stadium this year as the countdown continues to the FIFA Under-20 World Cup New Zealand 2015. The two West African nations have been confirmed for games in Hamilton following the African qualifying tournament in March in Senegal. Ghana and Nigeria are also qualified to play in New Zealand. Senegal and Mali join Portugal, Colombia, Qatar and Uruguay as the teams set to display their football credentials in Hamilton. Mayor Julie Haraka says the confirmation of the African teams completes the picture of teams who will compete in the group stages in Hamilton. She says it's going to be a fantastic tournament for Hamilton, with the group teams bringing football flair from Africa, Europe and South America. And being some of the big footballing nations of the world, she says we will be definitely seeing superstars of the future in action. Thames Hospital is leading the way with its emergency department quality framework initiatives. If a presentation given by staff to a health forum in Wellington is anything to go by. ED Medical Officer Gillian Twinham and registered nurse Michelle Delabarca presented on quality in a rural setting at the Ministry of Health hosted forum. Discussion focused on how much progress the department made towards implementing some 19 mandatory measures. The team, boosted by Dr. Matt Scales and charge nurse manager David James, worked together developing tools to audit these various compulsory measures and then began to collect and analyse the data so that it gave useful information. Hospital and Community Services Service Manager Jackie Mitch says the Thames presentation was very well received and feedback indicated that Thames Hospital is actually well ahead of other hospitals in implementing this quality framework. Thames Hospital has Waikato DHB's second biggest ED after Waikato. Since the introduction of the 6-hour target in 2007, it has regularly assessed, seen and treated more than 95% of its patients within the 6 hours. And now for our region's weather. Hamilton, it will be mainly fine with morning cloud, light winds, high of 23 and low of 8. Rest of the Waikato will be the same, Pairo 24 and 10 low, Matamata 21 and 10, Te Awamotu 23 and 8 low, Tokoroa 21 high and 8 low. Tauranga, it will be fine with light winds 24 and 13, Te Puke 22 high and overnight low of 12. And for the marine forecast, West Coast Raglan becoming 15 knots early Saturday, changing late Saturday to a southwest of 20 knots, dying out on Sunday. Moderate southwest swell easing Saturday. High tide is at 5 to 11 at night. East Coast Bay of Plenty westerly 15 knots, dying out for a time late Friday and dying out again on Sunday. High tide is at 7:52. Coming up in the show, Johnny Gillett, trainer to the pros. Welcome back to Central News. Undefeated Cairo George is kicking some serious butt at the moment in boxing. Yes, he has the talent, but he also has to train super hard. Johnny Gillett is his strength and conditioning coach, and he reveals to me a little about how hard he works, our motivated young boxer from Ngaruawahia.
I've been training Cairo for best part of 3 years now, since he's sort of turned professional.
You're his strength and conditioning coach. What does that mean?
I guess what we do is when he's building up for a fight, he'll come and see me a good 6 to 8 weeks before his fight, and we'll just do boxing specific fitness to get him prepared and primed up for his fight.
And how hard do you work, Cairo?
Cairo's an elite top level athlete, so you obviously got to train them hard. At that top level, there's no, especially in the boxing ring, you can't go hiding if you're not conditioned. So, you do your hard work out of the ring, so that when you're in the ring, that guy's ready to rumble.
Can he handle it?
Oh yeah, he's a tough character. Yeah.
Can you take us through a basic training session with Cairo?
Yeah, well, I guess what my prime focus is to get the guy specific fitness for boxing, so a lot of speed, power endurance. I don't worry too much about aerobic conditioning, because for him he needs to be fast repetitively. So we do a lot of plyometric training, a lot of explosive upper body work. We get out on the road and we push sleds, so we're building up lactic acid endurance, lactic tolerance in his legs, and just short rest periods so that he learns how to recover quickly and then go again and be explosive repetitively.
Are your training sessions long?
No, our trainings would probably go no longer than 30-35 minutes, but they're very intense. Yeah, very intense training sessions. So no time to sit around and talk. We just get stuck into the boxing specifics. Yeah.
And how would you describe him as a professional athlete?
Very focused. Yeah, he knows what he has to do to be in shape when he gets into the ring. Real easy guy to train because he's already self-motivated. I just tell him what to do and he just does it. I don't have to try and push him to say, come on, work harder. He's already up for it. So my job for him is just to push him to that extreme level that his body's going to be ready when it comes fight time.
How does it feel when you watch Cairo up there in the boxing ring?
Obviously I'm nervous for the guy because he's put a lot of hard work in, and you feel every punch that he takes and puts in, and I'm really proud of the guy when I see him succeed, because I know what the work he's done to get that success. It's a lot of hard work for the guy, but he really is focused and driven.
You've been around for a while, Johnny. What other professional athletes have you worked with?
Over the years, I've trained professional rugby teams, the Chiefs, the New Zealand Māori rugby team, and just dabbled with the odd, individual athlete. But my main focus now is just CrossFit, training CrossFit athletes. which is quite extreme training as well.
Do you have to adapt your training style between different sports?
Yes, yep, definitely. I think in previous fights with Kyra, we've just sort of done traditional CrossFit training for conditioning. For this fight, now that he's starting to step up in the rankings, I said to him, we need to be really specific with your training. And that's what we did this fight, and I think it paid off because I could see a definite change, not only in his physique, he showed a little bit more power with his punching, and I think that's just due to the specific training that we did this time.
Clearly, having a talented team behind an upcoming sports star is what you need to get ahead in the game. In our next story, improving water infrastructure is a main cause of concern for the Waipa district. Mayor Jim Milcrease addresses this issue and discusses changes proposed in the long-term plan.
Yes, it's a significant issue for Waipa, and it's not only the water supply, it is also the disposal of our water, whether it be sewage or stormwater issues.
And why is that? Why is it a big challenge?
Well, of course, as our population grows, we've got more and more demand for water, and it's not just for domestic consumption, it also relates to industrial and farming for irrigation purposes. So as much as in the Waikato we like to think we have an abundance of water, that's not really the case. And it's how we manage water that's going to be a critical issue for the future of the whole region, not just Waipa. So a number of our issues that relate around that are, I suppose, capacity in terms of the amount of volume that we can take, and that's a significant issue for Te Awamutu. Where at the present time we are actually taking water from Pirongia Mountain, from the Manguika stream, and on occasions we actually suck that stream dry over the summer. So effectively it can impact on the stream life and the quality of the environment. So we're facing restrictions on the amount of water that we can take from that stream. So we need to, we need to look at how we can actually supply our domestic consumers with the water. And so we're looking to try and increase the quantity, and we've got a couple of options we're asking people to look at. One is to apply for a variation to our resource consent so that we can continue to draw that sort of level of water, but we need to prop that up with a couple of bores to provide another 6,000 cubic metres a day. The other alternative is to take water from the Waikato River and pump that across the swamp to Te Awamutu. Now we have a consent that would enable us to do that in terms of volume. It's significantly more expensive. That's a $24.5 million project as opposed to the first option, which is about $12 or $13 million. But it's a lot more secure, and we need to balance those issues up in terms of which system we use. But in terms of water, we really do waste a lot of the water that we produce. Where we've got water meters on properties, the average consumption is about 190 to 200 litres of water per person per day. Where we haven't got meters, people are using 250 litres of water per person per day. So effectively, you can see that if people are actually paying for the amount of water they use, there's a tendency to conserve water. So that's a really important part of the whole process. At the other end of the system, of course, we've got wastewater issues, sewage treatment issues, and obviously we have increasingly higher standards imposed in terms of the quality of the effluent that's being discharged into the waterways. And we have major upgrades required at both Te Awamutu and the Cambridge sewage treatment plants.
And what is the council's preferred option for improving the water supply of Te Awamutu?
At the present time, it appears that the community is indicating that the more expensive option, I suppose, the more secure option is the preferred one. And that's pumping it from Cambridge, from the Waikato River, parallel road treatment plant across the district to Te Awamutu.
And that's what you want feedback from
We want
the people
feedback
about.
on that. That certainly will provide longer term certainty.
Yep.
It's higher capital costs and higher operating because it all has to be pumped, whereas the other option from the prong air is gravity fed, which is, you've got a lot less pumping charges.
Okay. Welcome back to Central News. I've got Waipa District Mayor Jim Milcrease in studio, and we're talking about the big issue of water that's been addressed in the long-term plan. Now, you mentioned before the break that improving the water supply to Te Awamutu, the preferred option from the council is the more expensive option. Will this mean a rates increase for Te Awamutu residents?
Not specifically. We have linked all of our water supply schemes across the district. So effectively, wherever you are in Waipa, you pay the same on a per cubic metre basis. And the rationale for that is that we want to link all of our schemes so that we can interconnect them, and then we've got more security of supply. So effectively, yes, there will be some increases in costs, but they will be spread right across the district, so everybody will be paying the same amount in terms of an increase. But effectively, our water costs at the moment are very low because we haven't got major loans out for our water supplies, and that will change, obviously, with the changes to the infrastructure that we have to put in. So water charges at the moment around about $1, just over $1 a cubic metre it costs, but that could go up to as high as $1.80, $1.90 over the life of the plan.
Now, bringing in the water meters as well should also have a huge impact.
Well, it does. It has a couple of benefits. Firstly, the people who conserve water and save it will be actually able to make some savings, because it's not fair that we charge a retired person maybe living on their own in a house the same as we do for large families with swimming pools and gardens that they're watering all of the time. So effectively, we want to get that equity there and give people the ability to save money if they can. So there's a real advantage there from a cost saving perspective.
And also encouraging people to be more aware of their water use has environmental benefits as well.
That's right, and I suppose trying to reduce the volume down to around about the 200 litres per person per day, and that's still a huge amount of water. We're not asking people to go short of water, it's just trying not to waste it. And it's quite interesting where water meters have been introduced into other communities, and Tauranga is a really good example. They've had a 30% increase in their population since they introduced water meters and haven't had to increase their capacity. It's all because of the savings that they've been able to achieve. And that puts off the capital works program, moves it out for a number of years, and therefore there's savings to the community.
Yeah, and it is kind of a worldwide thing, like a water crisis. So introducing, water meters and making people more conscious of that is potentially helping prevent crisis for New Zealand in the future.
Yes, look, I don't think New Zealand is certainly in that crisis mode at all at the present time.
Thanks, Jim. We will have more from the Waipa Mayor on next week's show. In our last story, Matamata Piako Mayor talks about their long-term plan for the district.
There's no really big issues in our long-term plan. We think it's business as usual. Matamata Piako is in a very good space. We don't have huge debt. We do borrow to spread the cost across the different generations. But no, the long-term plan we've been working on for approximately 18 months, and we're now coming out with a draft plan for the community to say, yes, we like what you're proposing, we think this needs tweaking, or perhaps this should be brought forward.
Mm-hmm. And what are you focusing on that you want the public to take into consideration?
Amanda, we are business, steady as she goes. We are all about our infrastructure, so we need to think about the long-term plan 30 years out with a strategy for our stormwater, wastewater, freshwater, And of course, roading is a big part of the expenditure from council. So that's quite a big piece of work. We also are looking 10 years out as keeping the level of service to what it is, maintaining our service, steady as she goes, but perhaps a couple of nice to haves going forward. And of course we need to look at the financial strategy 10 years out. Are we sustainable? Have we got everything covered in that time frame so that we maintain being a very successful council?
Mm-hmm. Now you just mentioned the nice to haves.
Yes.
What are those?
Always nice to haves. Well, of course, we put money in to the Hauraki Rail Trail, and it has brought international and domestic tourists into particularly Te Araha. And we would like to capitalise on that and extend it from Te Araha to Maramara. And we hope encouraging people to stay overnight and do another trail. So that's one of the nice to haves. Of course, we are building the Te Araha Event Centre. The Trust spoke and they've raised 2.4. So we're coming now to an event centre for Te Araha going forward. And the Maramara Civic Centre is a proposal that's out there. Now, the Memorial Centre isn't in a good shape. It's earthquake prone, and there's a lot of, it's a nearly 60-year-old building and it needs attention. So we're looking at combining the library, the area office, and the Memorial Centre. So we're saying, please let us know what you think.
But the Te Araha Event Centre,
Yes.
Is that already going ahead?
Yes, that has been in the plan to date. Some 5 years ago, people from Te Araha came and asked for an event centre, and the council of the day said, we would give you 2 million if you funded the balance. So they've come up with 2.4. So that's a new build altogether. Yeah.
Okay. And how can people submit their feedback about the long-term plan?
Well, there's documentation out there, of course. First of all, you would look in your newspapers, Facebook, and of course online mpdc.govt.nz. Also, there is pamphlets and postcards, can I say, is a very good way. There's 3 issues there, and all you've got to do is tick and perhaps give a positive comment and post it.
Easy.
So, easy, I think so.
Go to the council's website for more information. Thank you, Jan. I have just realised that tonight was brought to you by the letter J. We had Johnny, we had Jim, and we had Jan, and also we have Jesus, because tomorrow is Good Friday. Thank you for watching Central News tonight. We will be broadcasting tomorrow and on Monday. There's no rest for the wicked around here at TV Central. For those who might be travelling over the Easter break, please drive safe and have plenty of rest stops on those long journeys. Also, don't forget to like us on Facebook or visit our website for on-demand viewing. I will be back tomorrow with more stories from the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. My name is Amanda Harper. Happy Easter. Pō Marie.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.